Kujin, settle down. We have smack barm pea wet. Not yet though, but we have that. We got the $5 foot long. The inflation rates now is a $6 6-inch. Womp womp. We got Shaggy and Scooby, pioneers of the gigantic sandwich all in one gulp. And George Costanza with pastrami, of course, the most sensual of the salted cured meats. I wouldn't recommend anyone watch Seinfeld past season 7 because of Larry David. I had a lot to say about sandwiches, and I have a lot to say about what isn't a sandwich, shall we? Let's go. First of all, this is a lot. These are not sandwiches. For the sake of this video, this is not, like, nobody goes out and says, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go get a sandwich, and you come back and you say, check out my sandwich, and it's a hot dog or a burger. Hell no. A taco, a gyro, a souvlaki, a quesadilla. No, nobody really says a quesadilla is a sandwich, but I feel like the concept is there, right? But a quesadilla is undoubtedly a quesadilla. Some people like to call it a gyro sandwich. It's a gyro. I mean, a gyro is a fold. They say the same thing about pita sandwiches, like with like falafel and stuff. For the sake of this video, I'm not gonna consider these sandwiches. I'm talking cold cuts. I'm talking heroes. I'm talking whatever, hoagies, whatever you have. Uncrustables. That's a dumpling. Lunchables? That's a snack. You can't call that a sandwich. Okay. Open face sandwiches. No, you are not going to call that an open face sandwich. If you're putting avocado on toast, that's a toast. If you put anything on a toast and there's not another bread covering it, that's not a sandwich, that's a toast. Because if by that logic, pizza is a sandwich, and I will not stand for that. We are not living in a world where pizza is a sandwich. So, Mr. Thumbs Down, he disapproves of a sandwich that has slippage, as in you pick it up and the whole thing falls out, or an arrow Frutiger arrow, what the heck? A wet, soggy piece of bread. If you don't put the toppings in the correct order, you're gonna have sloppy, soppy, wet bread. And then if you use a knife and fork on that, that's not a sandwich. That's a disgrace. I want nothing to do with it. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, what is a sandwich? Now, let's say it's definitely bread. We got cheese. We got your meats, your proteins. Sometimes it's not meat, whatever. We got onion, pickle, tomato, lettuce, bread. Okay, that's a very simplified version of it. In between the two buns, the two pieces of bread, there's an infinite world of possibilities. You are the architect of your own reality. You are designing a playground. You can choose, the profiles, you can make it sweet, you can make it really salty. A sandwich doesn't need seasoning. Whatever you put in there, that already has the flavor you need. I could not imagine somebody opening up a sandwich and pouring in some salt and pepper. That's weird. I'm not a fan of ketchup on a sandwich. Anyway, but sauces will make or break. We're gonna get into all of this. We will learn about what makes a good sandwich and what makes a terrible, awful, disgraceful sandwich. Continuing on. Bread. What kind of bread are we using? Now we can go really, really simple. We got, you know, a big loaf, square piece of bread. It's either, you know, white, whole wheat, fine. Toast that thing though. Butter it up and toast it. I mean, sometimes, you know, the occasion doesn't call for toast, but I love a toast. I like it when bread is a little crispy because it's crispy on one side, that it's a crunch on the outside, and then on the inside it can sop up whatever's going on. If you want to be a little fancier, we got sourdough, we got rye, and we got pumpernickel, but I feel like the darker breads are a little, it's an acquired taste that I'd probably have not acquired. I like sourdough though. I really do like sourdough. You do baguette. Granted, the baguette, if it's too crispy and it like cuts up the top of your mouth, I'm not into that. When you think about, okay, the basic version of what bread can be for a sandwich, you go to Subway and they have all, you know, they got tons of different types. Think about it like that. So those are your basics. And if you have a little bit of money, you can get a focaccia. And sometimes they put rosemary in it, but focaccia is quite soft. And then you can get a roll, like a Kaiser roll. And that's how you get your bacon, egg, and cheese, definitely. If you're eating a caprese sandwich, you gotta get a little ciabatta in there. I love ciabatta, Okay, and this butter, it's important to butter the bread if you're gonna toast the bread. Actually, I probably wouldn't toast this butter, but I love this butter. I just wanted to mention it. It's like $16 butter. It's from Hokkaido. When I was making more money, I would buy this like kind of religiously. There are two types of butter. There's butter that you can toast with the bread, and then there's butter where you have to eat it raw. Like you gotta eat it gotta take the bread and just scoop it into it and taste the butter on its own. Because once you toast the butter into the bread, you don't taste the butter as much. It integrates itself into the bread. Trappist butter, delicious. But yeah, toast your bread. Let's keep going. Okay, we gotta talk veg, fruit and veg, but mostly veg. I mean, a tomato's technically a fruit, pepper's technically a fruit, right? Okay, no, maybe pepper's not, I don't know. We got wet greens and we got crispy, dry greens, but they're crispy, more crispy than dry. So for the wet veg, on this side we have tomatoes, we got eggplant, but you gotta roast the eggplant, you gotta make it nice and marinated and tasty. You can't just put a raw eggplant in there. Avocado sometimes, yeah. Mushrooms, same thing with the eggplant, gotta heat them up. So figs. I like figs with a little bit of brie. I like it on a sandwich maybe, yeah. That's the only like fruity fruit that I think really deserves a spot here. Now, on the crispy side, you got your regular greens, okay? That usually absorb the moisture of everything else, right? We got lettuce, we got spinach, arugula, put a little peppers on there. Now up here we got pickles. You can make it more wet by turning it into relish. You can make it less wet by keeping it a cucumber. An onion can either be as is, cut, raw, put in, or it can be caramelized, or you can put fried onions in there. Fried onions taste good on everything. This is my favorite fried onion brand. Love it. So let's talk protein. We're going to Zabar's. If you have time to walk a couple more blocks, you're going to Zabar's, and if you don't, you just go to the deli and and you get cold cuts. And we got our like traditional cold cuts here. We got ham, we got turkey, you got roast beef, you got salami, you can do pastrami. There, you know, think cold cuts. I don't need to put everything here for you to know what I'm talking about. And then we got fish. I got Barney Greengrass there because I feel like they make good fish sandwiches. You can get whitefish there. I think that's either a whitefish or that's tuna. Toonie fish. And there's salmon. I think salmon and cream cheese, that's the untouchable combination. I don't think you're putting salmon with anything else. But that's your protein. You can make a meatball hero, meatball parmesan, put a meatball in there, why not? It changes the sandwich. Like the cold cuts, it can kind of sustain itself and keep the structural integrity. There's some soppage, so you gotta sop it up because it's gonna be wet. The wet meats, I'll get to it. And now, because we got vegans and people who don't eat meat, you have many options. You can put tofu in your sandwich, I guess. Oh, let's go. Cheese. Fibonacci sequence. I'm talking ratios. I'm talking ratios here. Jerry ate a whole block of cheese and he was right, because sometimes the cheese ratio needs to be about as much as the meat ratio is. Sometimes it's a 50%, sometimes it's even an 80%. You don't know. But I think 50% is, we're calling it safe. But see, sometimes we got sandwiches like this one where there's obviously some kind of like prosciutto, like a ham in it, and there's pesto, it's a kind of a caprese with meat in it, but the cheese, because it's mozzarella or like a burrata or something, it's gonna you want a big bite of it. You want to taste that cheese because it's just as important. You got your flat cheeses, your slices, we got Swiss, we got cheddar, we got Munster, Gouda, whatever you have. That always works well with like an Italian sub, like when you're putting a ton of different types of meat in there. See, the problem with this actually, I think they may have put the tomato on in the wrong place. Maybe the tomato should be between the lettuce and the meat instead of against the bread, because it might make the bread soggy. So I take issue with that, but as you can see, the cheese is not really featuring here that much. I don't think that's the perfect ratio. I think they actually got it wrong. I think they could put a little bit more cheese, but it's not the caprese. You're not trying to give as much cheese as there is meat because of the texture, because sometimes cheese can get really hard. You need to take a bite. It needs to be biteable. Now, I have this disgusting imagery up here for you of Elmer's gluey glitter glue cheese. Because sometimes cheese is glue in a sandwich. I hate to say it, but and sometimes it's delicious as well. Like, this is a Philly cheesesteak. Sometimes the meat has nothing holding it together. It's gonna fall apart at the seams. You need the cheese to mix in so that everything can kind of stay put. And that's when you melt the cheese. Cheese is very important. Jerry knew that. I'm glad that you do now too. Let's keep going. Sauces. Sauce can really change the vibe. Mayonnaise is a must. You can mix mayonnaise and mustard. Yummy. Mustard. We have a whole world of mustard out here. You know, hot mustard. You got Dijon. You got yellow mustard. Honey mustard. Yum. You can even put honey on your sandwich too. I mean, but if you're putting honey on the sandwich, you're putting figs on the sandwich and arugula and brie. Honey can exist on the sandwich depending on what the sandwich is. Pesto. I love pesto. Some people may find this controversial. I think pesto just belongs everywhere. I love pesto so much. We got olive oil. Olive oil, yeah, you put it on the bread. Really what you're putting together is a salad and the meats. It's a way to put it together. So yes, I can see putting olive oil on the salad portion. And then similarly to that, balsamic vinaigrette. Delicious. Yum. Yum. Mayo with a fancier name is aioli. Aioli. Beautiful name for a baby girl. Aioli. Yeah, aioli, she is delicious because sometimes she's made of garlic and she's really just mayonnaise with a good French name. You know, it's funny, I was gonna put like a hot sauce on here, but hot sauce really isn't what people put on sandwiches. I just don't think that's where they belong. I think if you're gonna just eat a shakshuka, like put it in your tomato sauce, eat a pasta. Tomato sauce, it does kind of exist on a sandwich, but only in specific cases. But I don't think ketchup belongs on a sandwich. I'm sorry, I think it's a little too sweet. Eat it with the fries on the side. Yeah, that's my opinion. Anyway, there's a lot going on here. These are the major league players. When you think sandwich, you think caprese. You think Philly cheesesteak. When I was a kid, I thought that Philly cheesesteak actually had like aerated cheese whiz on it because of that Beck song where he's like, so I'm a lizard baby. You know, I when he said go crazy with the cheese whiz, I thought, oh, it's the air thing. That's the only thing I thought cheese whiz was because I never bought cheese whiz. I didn't know that it came in like a nacho, like a mason jar. Mason jar of cheese whiz. I also just really love that that they all got the cheese whiz hair. That's why I chose that picture. I thought it was really funny. Chopped cheese is like a Philly cheesesteak. You get a Reuben, a Cuban. I like that they rhyme. Go to the Feast of San Gennaro, you get Italian sausage and pepper, you get meatball hero. I like meatball heroes. That used to be like my favorite food ever because my dad would get me one and then we would sit in the park and I would eat it all and then we would walk around and look at the trees and read the little plaques on the trees and I would learn their names. And that was like a ritual. It was always meatball sub and then go to the park. I was a child. Salmon and cream cheese, lox bagel, yum. Think about a torta, Mexican torta, yum. A Spanish like bocadillo ham, yum. On a baguette. Banh mi, delicious. Delicious. Breakfast. This is a topic near and dear to my heart. I love breakfast. Egg on a sandwich, it's a breakfast meal. If you're putting anything between a croissant, I don't care what the hell it is, it's breakfast. We got that Jimmy Dean croissant sandwich. We got Cafe Veloce. I get this religiously. I will vouch for Cafe Veloce. I got the app. Yeah. For A-set, it's a tuna melt with cheese. But all these come with a drink. Coffee or tea, hot or cold, delish. And it's only like, what, $4 USD, something like that. Really good. So the first one is, yeah, tuna fish melt, that's A set. B set is that Kaiser roll, egg, bacon, spinach, yum. And then C set is like a bechamel sauce, cheese, ham and cheese sandwich. It's a great combination. Bagel and cream cheese, I do miss a bagel and cream cheese, a good one, where it's like hard on the top and then it's nice and hot and soft on the inside. And I love, again, ratios. I want them to take the entire thing of the Philadelphia cream cheese, just cut the block in half and put the whole thing inside. That's how it's meant to be. When I was a child, after like my orthodontist appointments, I had braces really, really young. My grandpa, they would take me to Garden of Eden. It is a supermarket. They had tons of these like wicker baskets on the ceiling. And I would always get a bagel and cream cheese, sometimes with jelly, sometimes not. And then my grandpa, every single time, he'd go, come on, look at this kid. Give her more than a schmear. I'm not paying you more for it, but give her more. He would like look over and be like, more please, more cream cheese, please. I love my grandpa. Anyway, we got McDonald's. McGriddles are a little too sweet for me. I'm sorry, and I don't like that egg as much. I like the circle egg. I like it when it's a little bit wet. I feel like it's a little dry in there. I feel like the McGriddle is a little too sweet and the sausage is a little too sweet because of the pancake. I'm not into it, but a lot of people like it. I'm sorry. I'm more of an egg McMuffin. English muffins, in general, I don't really care. The only time I ever eat it is with a McDonald's breakfast. I don't do McDonald's breakfast too much though. We got Lotteria. Lotteria has really good breakfast, and the hash browns are better. I say Lotteria is way better than McDonald's, and you can get veg on your breakfast sandwich, which is great. Although I haven't been in a long time because the one closest to me closed up. Egg Slut. It's a breakfast sandwich. Sometimes I get it for dinner. There is no structural integrity. I will say, Egg Slut is one of those like, oh, it's all over my damn hands, but they cook the eggs really good. I don't know what they did. Like, it's not quite scrambled because it's wetter than that. But I don't think that they're mixing cheese in it. I do love a cheesy scrambled egg though. I don't really need bacon on my egg slut though. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of bacon. I'm sorry. I think Epic Mealtime kind of killed it for me. I think bacon had its moment in the early 2000s and I can't do it anymore. I also just think like bacon's a little too crispy and a little too dry. I think on a side, like if I got a plate of pancakes and I got hash browns and everything's going on, yeah, I'll have bacon as a side, but I won't put it in a sandwich, and I don't mess with BLTs. I just don't care for them. Continue on with breakfast. We got Isaac toast, which I only went to in Korea. That was so good. They have tons of things. Isaac toast is crazy, and they use like a Texas toast for the sandwich, and there is structural integrity even if you think that there won't be. Like they put the perfect ratio of stuff in it. I'll always remember Isaac toast. Wet sandwiches. Now is a toughie. I don't care for grilled cheese the way I used to. I just don't. I think it's just slime. Sorry. And people love to show that cheese pull thing. I'm like, ugh. And maybe it's just because I haven't had good cheese in a while. Now we got PB&J. You gotta toast the bread. Sometimes you gotta toast the peanut butter too. Like that soft PB&J, I get it, but it tastes it tastes healthier than the same thing that you can get just by toasting the bread a little bit. Like when it's a little crispy, I like that. It's quite sweet. It's all sweet. It's all sugar, right? Didn't Elvis put bananas in his PB&J? Well, I got bananas here. And I got two types of banana PB&J. Raw bananas and then like that toasted banana, that looks pretty good. A hummus sandwich. I had a crazy English teacher in high school who brought hummus sandwiches every single day. And then there was one day where he was like, oh, I'm sick. Who wants my hummus sandwich? And it was pretty good. He used Ezekiel bread, the type that you gotta put in the refrigerator. Marmite, I kind of like Marmite. I think it's pretty good with some butter. Nutella, that's too sweet. It's too sweet for me. I can't imagine the scenario where I would even go for Nutella. Again, I think just like bacon, Nutella had its moment. It's going to the early 2000s like food trends graveyard in my mind, so I'm sorry Nutella, I don't really care for you. We got a pulled pork sandwich because that's also really wet. That's all wet. Sometimes you put coleslaw in it. Coleslaw is also wet. And then we got Joe. We got Jojo and we got Joe. Because Sloppy Joe, that's right. Because I couldn't find any great pictures of Sloppy Joes because they kind of look bad. Sloppy Joe is really the twin brother to a pulled pork. No structural integrity. They're wet. Japan loves to put potato salad, tuna salad, and egg salad between white toast. I like it. They're okay on the go. Now we have Emmy Maid. She once made a loaf of bread that was just made out of Jello, and then later on she made a PB&J that was just made out of Jello, but that's the visual sensory experience because it's all wet. And this is real important. People for some reason love to put carbs on carbs. Like they're putting potatoes, battered things, and noodles into sandwiches, and I'm not here for it. I don't think chicken parmesan belongs in a hero. I'm sorry, it's already battered. I don't need 2 layers of bread between the bread. Big Macs, sorry, we're talking about burgers. They got a slice of bread in the middle. It's enough. Yakisoba bun, I'm not into that. I don't want to put noodles in my sandwiches. I know some people, they put ramen in their sandwiches. I think that's vile. I'm sorry. Chicken cutlet, it's just the Japanese version of a chicken parm, and I don't need that. And then a po' boy. I've never had one. Battered shrimp. It probably tastes good, but like I just don't. These are my rules, so here we go. Smack, barm, pea, wet. Smack, barm, pea, wet. I'm gonna be going to this Trawlerman fish and chip shop like it's a pilgrimage one day. I swear to God. So smack. What the hell is? Take a potato, cut it in half, take the middle of the potato, and then batter it up and fry it up. Okay, that's smack, right? Barm. Barm is the bun. Whatever you're putting inside of the barm, you say before the barm. So smack barm means it's a smack sandwich. The smack is inside the barm. Smack barm. Now we got pea wet. It's the wet of the peas. He says it in there. It's not the peas, it's the wet of the peas. And honestly, that doesn't sound bad. That doesn't sound bad. I like the color green. I like pea soup. I do like pea soup. He says, well, the smack barm alone is kind of dry. You put the pea wet on so that it moistens it up because the potato will sop up the pea wet. And he says he puts a little pea in there too. Oh, a little bit of peas, a little pea pods. He puts some of that. There is some texture in there too. Smack barm pea wet from Wigan, from the Trawlerman fish shop. I understand it completely. Chip butties? That means that the chips, oh, and by the way, chips, sorry, the English chips, not like the crisp, chip. Like French fries. So the chips are going inside the sandwich. We got wigan kebab. A wigan kebab is literally just a meat and potato pie in a barm. And they call it a kebab, I think, because it's from a kebab shop, but it's not a kebab, it's a sandwich. And then some people put pea wet on the wigan kebab, and then you got baby's head, because it looks like a baby's head. He says it in the video. And that's just a steak pudding, which is another type of pie, with fries and some gravy on it. Those are sandwiches that have carbs and battered stuff between buns. There's no nutritional value there, it's just carbs. I was meant to know about this. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, desserts. I love an ice cream sandwich. I used to love a Klondike bar. Now my new favorite sandwich is that cookie sandwich from Morinaga. Japan also loves to put fruit and cream into sandwiches and like smush it up, but I never really go for it. It's a lot of cream. A dorayaki is a sandwich. Usually it's filled with red bean. It's okay. It's okay. It's not really what I go for. A macaron is not, it's not a sandwich. It's a cookie. I just thought it looked pretty for the PowerPoint. Sorry. A s'more is that's a sandwich. I mean, it's in Lunchables territory, yes, but a s'more is a sandwich and it's a dessert. But you know, you make s'mores on the stove. You put like, you stick a marshmallow into a chopstick and you put it over the stove and then you put it into graham cracker. A whoopie pie, I guess, could be a sandwich. I don't know. Whoopie? So these sandwiches are giving to me like the Oreo dessert pizza, $2.99, $3 or whatever, back in 2007. I remember the pizza being really heavily advertised when I was a kid. We never tried it and it's gone forever, but I wonder what it was like. Yeah, Domino's, crazy. So what's my favorite sandwich? I'm so glad you asked. This is called the Henry. One of my best friends from high school, he would bring the sandwich into school and it was sourdough from Trader Joe's, cut in half. Well, his mom actually made it, so he would slap it with veganese, or mayonnaise actually, but I would put veganese. As Grimes said, veganese is like pointedly better than the original mayonnaise. Maybe a little bit of mustard, and then you put arugula. Okay, arugula, think of arugula. Then you do a couple of slices of prosciutto, that specific prosciutto that you can get at Trader Joe's. Put it on. Munster cheese, important. Munster on top. And then you put more arugula, and now we're taking fig balsamic or balsamic vinaigrette, a little dab of that onto it. Then you put the sourdough bread on, maybe mayo that side too, and you have the Henry, the tastiest sandwich ever. One year when it was my birthday, his mom made me the sandwich for lunch, like just brought it in with his lunch. It was really sweet. And this is just my favorite sandwich. It's gonna be my favorite sandwich forever. I was really big into the sandwich. I had like it was probably like a whole year where I was fixated on this specific combination of ingredients. So you're welcome, world. It's Henry's gift to me, and it's my gift to all of you, but it's really Henry's mom's gift. Thank you, Henry's mom. You completely changed my life. Yeah. Also, rocket. Why is it called rocket? Why is arugula? Arugula is more fun. Arugula sounds like an instrument. Rocket. Does it look like a rocket? Is that why? I don't know. So here we got Quiznos. Failed Subway competitor, doesn't exist anymore. They used to toast their subs, and I know that because they had these crazy commercials with these guys called spongmonkeys, who they're tarsiers, and it's very early internet. They debuted them, I think, at like the Super Bowl. They got crazy teeth and they play the guitar, and I think they look a lot like Fugglers. You know Fugglers, the ones with they got the teeth too. But Fugglers, I think, are the evolved versions of Ugly Dolls, which I used to love. Anyway, do you remember when Nathan For You set up Solomon on the date with Rachel, and Rachel just went, oh, thank you, and Solomon was talking about clit? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna sing the Spong Monkey song. It goes like, how does it go? We love the Sipes. I think? I don't know any of the lyrics. Anyway, thank you very much. Clearly, I love sandwiches. So have a nice night. Bye.